I recently received an email from a viewer who asked a lot of questions surrounding the theme, how do I introduce a child to scuba diving? Now, I'll start by saying I don't teach a lot of junior open water students, but I have taught some. So here goes, here's my best advice. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. As always, so great to see all of your smiling faces. I hope you're all doing really well. If you're new to our channel, make your next dive on that subscribe button. Click the little bell icon so you're notified every time we upload a new video, because we make videos with one simple goal in mind, and that's to help make you the best scuba diver you can be. Now, we are going to use the questions I was asked in that email as the structure for this video. How to introduce children to scuba diving, starting with how do I tell if my child is even ready to start scuba diver training? Now, that's a great question to start with. Most training agencies start their junior open water diver training programs at 10 years old, but that doesn't mean that every 10-year-old is ready for scuba. So how do you know? Well, number one, remember that the agency's minimum requirements are always going to be more slack than yours should be or your instructor's. First off, check water confidence. Does your child run and jump into the deep end of the pool the first chance they get? Do they enjoy playing in the water? Do they enjoy the beach? Do they like to run into the surf? Are they a good swimmer? If the answer to all of those questions is a resounding yes, then you're off to a great start. However, if your youngling is the kind that has to kind of be coaxed to get into the pool, scuba is a terrible idea. Also, always go off of the child's interest. If they're keen for it, great, but there's nothing worse than when you get a pushy parent that's trying to encourage their kid to learn how to scuba dive and they just have no interest whatsoever. It doesn't end well for anyone. Next, how's their concentration levels? Do they have situational awareness, basic situational awareness? I'm not talking like a Navy SEAL, but are they basically aware of how their actions have consequences on their situation? Are they responsible? Will they be able to handle or understand the basic maths and physics involved with scuba diving? Because let me tell you something, there is no junior open water diver scuba manual. It's the same manual they give to adults. So they need to have some kind of basic concept of the physics and the maths involved. These are all important questions that need to be answered for you to tell if your child is ready for scuba or not. And remember, if they're very young and they're not ready for scuba now, that doesn't mean they never will be. So give them time, give them patience. Next question that was asked was, do I have to rent or purchase small size gear? Well, yes, absolutely, of course. For all divers, but especially for children, correct gear sizing and fit is absolutely essential for their comfort and therefore their enjoyment. Most manufacturers out there will make small, extra small or junior sizes of their BCDs, of wetsuits and so on. And you can even shorten, hose lengths on regulators and SPGs to make sure everything is absolutely optimized for the child's size. I've seen children on charter boats who were issued a make-do wetsuit, which is too big for them, so basically useless, water's just flowing through it, and that child is shivering and hating life, and that is really an easy way to put a youngster off of the sport of scuba diving. So avoid that at all costs. So check with your local dive shop. Do they cater to children? Do they have children's sizes? Junior gear is basically the same price as adult gear, and as your child will of course quickly outgrow smaller size BCDs and wetsuits, etc., I would definitely recommend renting over purchasing. Next question was, any suggestions when looking for an instructor for a junior certification? Listen, if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. The most important factor when starting out in scuba diving is the selection of your instructor. This goes triple for getting children into the sport. Ask any potential instructor that you're considering to teach your child how much experience they have training children. Get a sense of their communication style, personality, and most importantly, their patience level. So for example, you have people like my friends Mark Wynn and Holly Wakely who work for Kids Sea Camp, and the majority of what they do is train children day in, day out, guide children and so on, and they are fantastic at it. That's what they specialize at it. Me, on the other hand, I specialize at teaching technical diving to airline pilots, police and military types. I have very little experience teaching children. I have no junior size gear for rent. It's not what I do. I'm a grumpy middle-aged white guy. The last junior open water diver that I taught was actually a 14-year-old son of a technical diving student of mine who asked me to teach their boy to scuba dive, and that course went great because the child had a very mature mindset, and it was no different for me from teaching an adult. But yeah, no, I'd be a terrible choice for most children's instructor. Next question was, are there very many opportunities to find a guide who would be willing to accommodate a junior open water diver for fun dives after training, or is that rare? It's not rare at all. No, absolutely. Particularly at sort of like the family-focused dive resorts throughout the Caribbean, through Southeast Asia. Their staff are used to training and briefing and guiding juniors. I mentioned Kids Sea Camp. That's a whole organisation dedicated to ensuring children love scuba diving and foster a love for the ocean. I dive in Key Largo all the time, and I always see children, junior divers being guided by the local dive masters and instructors. So yes, traveling and fun diving with a junior diver is no big thing. The next question went like this. I dive mainly inland waters in Ohio, like the lakes and quarries, and of course that's where I would take him initially, but is the ocean a reasonable goal for a junior open water diver? Why in the world would you want a child's first impression of scuba diving to be a quarry in Ohio? Now, nothing against inland divers or Ohio in particular, but come on. One of the main differences between adult learning and child learning is your ability to project. An adult learns to dive in a quarry in Ohio and is able to think, okay, well, when I'm in Bonaire next month, it's going to be a totally different, better experience. Whereas a child learns to dive in a quarry in Ohio and thinks, okay, this is what scuba diving is like always. Now, maybe they like it or maybe they don't, but why run that risk? Definitely start your child out with a Discover dive in a pool in properly fitted scuba gear with a child-friendly instructor. And yes, junior open water divers train and dive in the ocean all the time. So I hope that answered your question, Kevin, and anyone else watching this that is thinking about getting their child into scuba diving. Thank you so much for watching. As always, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this content, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. We'll be back next week with another video. Until then, my name's James. This was Divers Ready's Mouthpiece Monday for this week. Dive safe, dive often. Tea, 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 I love tea. Nailed it in one take. That is the power of tea. You nail it in one take, that's the power of tea. Yes!